All right, welcome everybody. This is Vishan Borich, and I am also known as the Tough Mama from Team Tough. You are on the Down and Dirty at 1:30 Central. This is my weekly hangout that I host every single Monday at 1:30 Central to help you and inspire you with your online business. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about time management specifically, but more importantly, the title, if you guys receive that, is How to Accomplish More in Less Time. So before I dive in, I want to give some shout outs to anybody who's watching me live today. So let me see who we've got. Oh, I see Richard is out there. There appears to be a few other viewers. If you are live, go ahead and log in down below. You'll see there's a chat box. You can log in there, say hello. If you have questions as I go through today's training class, feel free to post those there. And then what I'll do is I will go ahead and answer those as quickly as I can. It'll probably be after the hangout, but if you stay on for a few minutes, we'll get those answered for you. All right, so this is a big question that I get a lot. Let me give you a little background. Right now is a super busy time for me because actually this Saturday, I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag, but this Saturday I'm getting married. So I've got a lot of planning and stuff that's been going on, but not only that, I mean, wedding planning in itself is a lot of to-do lists, correct? But I also have an online business that I run. I also actually have two of them, two online businesses that I run. I'll explain that in a bit. And then I have a karate studio, a dojo, that I'm an instructor and I also own and run that with my fiance, soon to be husband. So between all of that, I obviously have a lot on my plate, but I managed to get the things done that are necessary to be successful. And so one of the things that I want to tell you all is that if you really want something, if you want to achieve something, you can do it. And like with my online businesses, yes, they are online. So one of the nice things about having that is that it's portable and it gives me the ability to do things around my life. So it's really been great to have that instead of working in a cubicle or for another a boss of some type. So I am my own boss, and that's what I encourage you. If you really want to command time, then I suggest you try to find a way that you can be your own boss, because that does free up more time for you to plan your day. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, because what I've done is I've put together a presentation for you, and I'm going to flip my screen around and show that to you as we go through how you can find more time in your day to get so many things accomplished. So let me go ahead, screen share. All right, I think it's live here. So here is how to accomplish more in less time. So I want to start off with a few quotes, and maybe you've heard this one. It says, don't say you don't have enough time. You have exactly the same number of hours per day that were given to Helen Keller, Pasteur, Michelangelo, Mother Teresa, Leonardo da Vinci, Thomas Jefferson, and Albert Einstein. So, if all of those people can accomplish so many amazing things with their life, then certainly you have just as much, if not more time to do those things. Okay, so let's talk some more. This is one of my other favorite ones. This one's been pretty popular lately, and that is, you have as many hours in a day as Beyonce. So if you aren't familiar with Beyonce, she is an incredible Grammy Award multi-platinum artist. She's done movies, videos. She's also a mom. So she's very famous. And a lot of people have these coffee mugs now out that says you have as many hours in a day as Beyonce, because it's amazing what this woman accomplishes. So with that said, this is some information that I looked up through social psychology, and that is power increases your perception of available time and control over that time. Basically, there was a study done by this group, excuse me if I can say it, experimental social psychology. And basically what they did, they interviewed over 500 people, and they said, before they talked to them, they said, you are an employee going in for an interview, or they said to them, you are a boss getting ready to interview someone. And then after they went through a series of questionnaires, they asked those people, which did they feel like they had more time or less time in their day to accomplish the things that they wanted. Well, it ends up that the people that were told they were the boss, that were hiring someone, had a much greater perception of the amount of time they had available to them. So the conclusion was that power increases your perception of time and your ability to control that. In a nutshell, this means imagine yourself as a boss. If you go into each day believing you're a boss, whether you are or you aren't, you're going to be much better at managing your time and getting more done in a day. So be a boss. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Be a boss and have the mindset of a boss. All right. Okay, so I wanted to express two questions here. Are you in control of your time? Yes or no answer. And then the next question, are you just busy? Yes or no. So you either are one of two camps. You can't be in the first without, or the second one at the same time. So a lot of people are just busy. They let others control their time and tell them what they need to do from moment to moment. If you have a spouse, then you know that sometimes what they want you to do and what you want to do might be different. Okay, so it really comes down to how you manage your time, with some flexibility too for those unexpected things that come up. All right, so let me give you an overview as to what I'm going to teach you today on this presentation. So I'm going to share with you 4 important time concepts. And when you understand these, it might help alleviate some of the stress that you might be under when you're trying to accomplish things in your life. I'm also going to share with you some tips on how to eliminate overwhelm. That seems to be one of the biggest challenges, and that's also what causes the #1 time killer is procrastination, right? And the reason that most of us procrastinate is that we feel overwhelmed. There's just too much to do, and rather than try to accomplish that, we just avoid it. Okay. All right. The other one is where to start. If you really want to start managing your time and taking control and having that boss mentality, where do you start? And then I'm going to share with you a simple strategy that I've been using in order to accomplish much more in my life and take on more responsibilities in different areas because of this strategy. And then I always like to give a bonus for those of you that stick around to the end of this presentation. You're going to get a bonus that I think will really help you with managing your time and accomplishing more in your life. All right, so let's get started. So here are the 4 important time concepts. The first one is, in order to manage time, you have to change your perception of time. The easiest way to change that perception of time is to believe that you are in control of it. It's that boss mentality again. Believe that you are in control of your own time, that you own it. It belongs to you. We each are only given a limited amount of time here. Nobody knows when your deadline is. So manage your time, realize how valuable it is, and look at your time as you are the boss of it. Okay, and once you start looking at it that you affect it rather than everybody's taking time away from you, then you start having a little better experience. It eventually will become a lot better experience once you put that into place full time. Okay, I hope that makes sense, because I know that when I used to work in corporate America, I always felt like somebody else was taking all of my time. There was meetings, you couldn't get a lot of work done because there was interruptions and things going on. So I always felt like my time was being whittled away by those around me. And even in the job, you do have the capability to better organize your time by communicating and letting people know that, this is how much time you have available to you. And honestly, if your boss or whoever's in charge of you, if you work for someone else, doesn't understand that you can only do so much in a limited amount of time, you probably don't want to work there anyway. There's better places you can work, or here's an idea, work for yourself. And that's what I chose to do, because I found that in managing my own time, it's much easier to do so when I am my own boss. All right, the next concept that's really important to managing time is being able to live in the present. I was once told if you live in the past, you experience a lot of depression in your life. You're depressed. If you live in the future, you are anxious all the time. If you live in the present, you will find serenity. So there are cultures, there are ancient cultures in the world that don't even have words that represent the past or the future. They live in the present. Everything they say is in the present. And they seem to be much less stressed than the rest of us who are in first world countries and so on, who just let our lives become inundated with meaningless tasks. So get in the habit of living in the present, and you'll find that your time expands. The other concept is to remember to take time for yourself. Part of being anxious and feeling stressed comes from allowing everyone else to eat away at your time, but you not planning anything just for you. So if you're not doing that today, then I challenge you to literally block time off on your schedule, on your calendar each week, to do something just for yourself. And don't break that appointment. Tell other people, I'm sorry, I'm booked, and make that your time. Without having that your own time, you will lose yourself, and eventually, this could really cause health problems as well as just mental anguish and stress. The last one, and this is something that I do as a martial artist, but it's good no matter if you're a martial artist or a yoga practitioner, or it's good for anyone, and that's meditation. Take time to meditate. Meditation is a way to kind of suspend time. If you're not used to meditating, or you've never done it before, it's a way to just become one with your thought. So to literally clear your thought and focus on something like your breath or a candle or something like that. And in doing that, it gives you clarity to what's really important and what you should be focusing on for that day or that week. So I challenge you to learn about meditation and put it into practice if you aren't doing that currently, because it might just change your life. It might help you to really focus in on what's the most important thing in your life. So I don't know if you can hear that. My dogs are kind of going a little bit nutty, so I'm sorry if there's some interruption. All right, so let me go to the next one here. So the very first step is to eliminate overwhelm. If you're watching this today, or if you're watching the recording, overwhelm is the killer of time. I truly believe that. And here's one thing I want you to ask yourself. Pick one thing per month that, if clarified and advanced, would help you feel like a new person. So turn that into a question. What is one thing that, if clarified and advanced, would help you feel like a new person? And you may have to think on this a bit, but every one of us knows that one thing. You may be putting something off, maybe you have for a while, but you know that if you clarified it and took action on it, advanced it, it would help you feel so much better. You'd feel like a new person. You would feel like you really have a sense of accomplishment. So write down just one thing, not 50 things. Just pick one thing per month and see how that changes things for you. It should help bring clarity instead of that overwhelming feeling of a to-do list that's a mile long. Okay. So we're continuing here on step one, and that's getting more organized and less overwhelmed. Here are some things that might help you. Okay. Number one is to designate a command center. A command center is a place, sorry, my dog just jumped in my lap. So funny. A command center is a place where you basically plan out your day. You plan out what you're going to do. It might be an area, it could be a card table, it could be a desk, it could just be a spot that you normally work on your computer, like if you have a laptop. but you want a spot that when you go there, you have a focus of getting something done. Okay. Like for me, my command center is definitely my desk. I have a home office, and it's in a lower level of our house, and it's exclusive for working. There's nothing other than my dogs being crazy. It's nothing else down here except me and my office furniture. Okay, so one of the things that I really focus on is when I come down here, I have, my files that I have in order. I have I have certain things that are here that help me stay organized, like a bulletin board. I have what I call a tickler file, and I'll share more about what that is and how you could set one of those up. I also have charging stations for my phone. I have an area where I can pay bills. The stamps and things like that are already here and ready, so that anytime that I need to do something, if I need to do work or I need to plan, this is my spot to do it. That's going to help you right there to feel more organized. The second thing is, if you just have, maybe you're just so disorganized, it's just reached a point where you don't know even how to start even creating a command center. Pick 15 minutes at a time to actually organize. And 15 minutes is something you can set a timer to do and just go to town, okay? Realize that you're not going to accomplish it all. If you really have a lot of stuff piled up, you're probably not going to accomplish everything you need to do in 15 minutes as far as organizing and cleaning, but you will start making a dent. And if you do this over the course, of a few days or a week, depending on how bad it is, then you're going to start feeling relief. With every 15 minutes, you're going to feel relief, because it's going to start clearing a space for you to be in command of your life instead of having life command you. And sometimes, for those of us that travel a lot, like I know there's several people that are on this hangout today that have what I call the laptop lifestyle, where they travel all over the world and they work off their computer, which is awesome. I love that we can do that with our business. Some of us that do that, our command center is our laptop, and our desktop can get super busy and the files can get everywhere, and then it's hard to find things on your computer. So sometimes you just need to organize your desktop or your phone. Maybe your phone's getting out of hand, or your emails. That's another one. Maybe you have 1 million emails and you just need to clean those out. So pick 15 minutes at a time, or per day if you really need cleanup, to organize. So if you're cleaning stuff up physically and not digitally, here's some thoughts for you. Create a bucket or 2 big baskets and put things that you want to keep in one basket, with the understanding you're going to go through it and organize that in your next 15 minutes. Okay, so maybe you right now, like if I were going to clean something, like say there's a desk that's just a disaster and you can't even see the desktop, I might create 3 boxes, and I would throw things off the desk into one of 3 boxes. It either goes in the keep pile, which I'm going to file, or it goes in the giveaway pile if it's stuff that I need to give somebody else, or it goes in the trash pile. Okay, and by doing that, now you're creating a system that's going to help get you organized and allow you to have a great command center so that you can plan. We're going to talk about how to plan stuff in just a moment. And then here's something else that I believe everybody should do, is have a calendar that you use. Ideally, you want one where your family can get to it as well, if you have a family. If it's just you and you're traveling the world, then I would probably recommend that you have one that's digital, that's on your phone or on your computer, and something that if your computer dies or your phone dies, you can still receive it or get to it on any web-based machine. I always tell that to people, like go to Gmail and you can set up a calendar there or something, or Google. There's a lot of different digital calendars. If you work from home, like most of the time I am at home, although I do love to travel. I have school-age children, so we like to stay kind of in one spot because they love their school, and I enjoy the area. And so I have a physical calendar. It's printed calendar. It's in a central location so that my family and I can put things on there and know what's going on. So nobody is surprised. If we have some big event coming up, we want to have that written down so that everybody's aware of it. But you can do that digitally as well. You can have a shared calendar with your family members so they know where you are and what's going on. Okay? All right, so this was step one. We're moving on. If you have questions or things like that, feel free to write below, or maybe you have some tips that you've learned that have worked well for you. Go ahead and comment down below. I'd love to hear those. All right, the next one is, where to start. This is step two. Okay, so here's the question I challenge you to ask yourself in order to get you started. And what is one action that you can do right now that isn't overwhelming, that's going to move you to whatever it is that your big item is for the month? Remember back in step one, we talked about, what's the one thing that would make you feel really good if you got it done? Well, think about that one thing. Now, what's one simple action that you can do right now that you could do in 30 minutes or less? Okay, and it may be as simple as picking up the phone. It may be, cleaning your desk off. If you can do that in 30 minutes. It may be, maybe you need to send an email. Maybe you need to research something online. Whatever it is, pick something small that you can do in order to start moving forward towards your goal. Okay, so let me give you some more detail on this. So this is all starting with a plan. So what I tell people who come to me for coaching, I said to start, make a list of everything you can think of that's going to move you towards your goal. You may end up with a crazy long list, and I think most people will. If you start thinking of all the things you need to do in order to accomplish that big goal for the month, you may end up with several pages of to-do items. Okay, so that's just the starting point. The next thing you're going to do is look at that list and ask yourself, what is the very next action that I can take that I can mark off this list within the next 30 minutes? Okay, and I recommend that you only circle 2 or 3 items that are your next actions, because if you start circling like all of them because they're all important, it's just going to overwhelm you. And the goal here is to stay away from overwhelmingness, and it's to focus in on simple tasks that you can do right away. Okay. All right. So, and then here's the other thing that I do is I create what I spoke of earlier. It's called a tickler file. And what that is, it's mine is physical. You can do this digital as well, but mine is a filing cabinet that has 12 months of folders in it. And each month, each folder is labeled with that month. Okay, and so what I do is when I get mail or documents or whatever that comes in that's a hard copy, I will put that in the appropriate month as to when it needs to be taken care of. Okay, and by doing that, I know I can get it out of my mind, because that's the problem. Is if you've got something that is due later on, but you don't need to deal with it right now, well, what'll happen is sometimes that piece of paper will get lost, and then then you're in a frantic rush and you're wasting time trying to find something rather than have it in a location that you can quickly flip through and find. So this tickler file is great for reminders as well. Like if you have a pad of sticky notes, you could write something that you want to get done in the next month that is not a priority for this month, but you could put that in your tickler file. Like maybe a big birthday is coming up, or a party or an event that you're planning. So you could put some things on that note that you want to get done the next month, so that when you're doing your planning, it's already organized by month, and you kind of know what you need to accomplish by then. Okay, you could do this digitally. I'll just share with you a few electronic things that I use to help me, and that you could create a tickler file. One is Notemaster, and this, I'm on an iPhone, but they probably have a version of it for Android devices as well. And Notemaster is a way for you to basically take notes. It's a little better than just the regular notes within your phone, because Notemaster allows you to categorize it by files, and you can also take and sync it with Google, so that if something happened to your phone, you wouldn't lose all your notes. You could go and you would have those. I've literally been using Notemaster for years, and it's really allowed me to keep track of things, like important things. Like I'll have, and you can put a privacy lock on some of the folders so that nobody can get to it. Like one of the things I have is a file, for example, that has pictures of my credit cards. And I know that sounds kind of dangerous, but I have it locked down as a private file with a password. And the reason I have it is so if for some reason somebody stole my purse, or if you're a guy, somebody stole your wallet, you have images of your license and all of your credit cards, so that you can quickly go in and you can contact and put a hold on those cards until they can be replaced. So I've got that, and I also have all the social security numbers for my kids and things like that that you need as a parent, when you're going to go, maybe to a hospital or something. So, and then I have like birthday present ideas and things like that that I stay organized with on my Note Master. This has helped me tremendously for wedding planning as well. Like I have a wedding bucket list that had all the different things that I needed to do in order to plan the wedding. So, I'm just giving you a tip. So that's one thing that I use. Another thing that I use is Wunderlist, and that's spelled Wunderder. It's like the German Wunder, Wunderlist. Okay, so Wunderlist is an app that allows you to make checklists, electronic checklist, to-do list. And what's great about it is it can even sync up with your email and send you an email reminder for things that you need to get done that week. Okay, I hear a lot of people use Evernote as well. That's a really popular one. I used that one for a while, but I ended up switching to Notemaster and Wunderlist. That was just my choice. You have to decide what works best for you in order to stay organized and keep track of your stuff. All right, so let's go to the next one. So this is my simple strategy to get more done in a day. All right, so first you've got to create a system that works for you and stick to it. Now that's the thing. If you're changing your system all the time, then you're never going to really see any progress in reaching your goal, or in compressing time for your day. So I'm sharing with you ideas that have worked for me. But if it's not going to work for you, and you just know yourself, and you know you're not going to use a digital checklist versus a printed one on a piece of paper, then do it, whichever way works best for you. Okay, so here is my system. Take what you like, leave the rest. But the first thing that I believe in is compartmentalizing. Okay, so I make what's called a content-based to-do list. I'm going to explain how this works, and hopefully this will help you a lot. So everything that goes on my to-do list, it falls in one of these 5 categories. Okay, so it's either a home item, like a family project, or something that's related to my personal life. So that would go on the home section. Maybe it's something I need to do, like go grocery shopping. Okay, the second item, if it's a phone calls, any type of phone calls that I need to make to accomplish something for the day, it goes under my phone category. Or it's errands. We all know what errands are, but this would require us actually traveling to go drop something off, pick something up, etc. So that would go down onto the errands list. And then computer. Anytime that I have something that has to be done on a computer, maybe I need to log in and complete something online, or if there's a webinar that I want to attend, or if there's some bills I want to pay online. So whatever it is, I'm going to write that down and label it computer. And then finally, to discuss. To discuss would be something that, it's not necessarily a phone call. It might be a meeting. In my case, most of the time, to discuss is something I want to discuss with either my wedding coordinator lately, or my spouse, so that I can make sure that we're on target to hit all of our deadlines for the wedding coming up this Saturday. Okay, so these are things. This is the way that I compartmentalize. Now I even take it one step further. And that is, I label them with one other label, and that is, well, 4 other labels. Context would be the items I just listed. So home, phone, errands, computer, and to discuss are the context of what the actual to-do item is. Now, next to those items, I will put the time that I think it'll take to do it, how much energy it'll take on a scale of 1 to 5, and then the priority. And my priorities, I used to do a scale of 1 to 5 for that, but now I just do a scale of 1 to 3. Okay. So then the reason I do that is because some days, and I know you're the same way, we all are, some days I have like no energy. I just don't want to do anything that's going to require a lot of mental or physical energy. And when those days hit, then I do the things on my list that are low energy. Okay, and vice versa. Okay, and then priority, there is something I want to say about priority, and that is if it's something that has a big deadline that's super important that you hit it, then I set an alarm within my phone to remind me about that. Now, sometimes, I know that event or whatever my priority item, it's going to take, 3 or 4 days. So I'll set the alarm to go off, 4 days in advance and just remind me, hey, have you started this, because it's going to take, 2 or 3 days to get done. And then I'll set another alarm to remind me when it's due. And, usually it's like a day before so that, I don't forget, and then one on the day it's due. So I kind of over alarm my phone. My phone is constantly going off with alarms, but it really has helped me to stay focused and know, hey, I set this alarm because this was important to me. So I need to get this done. I can't procrastinate on it. It's got to get done. Okay, so hopefully this is making sense. And if you want to use these, great. My whole goal today is to give you some ideas that might help you. Okay. All right. The other thing is, and I already kind of talked about this, but if it's deadline sensitive, put it on your calendar. So we already covered that one. And then finally, this is my secret. This is really my secret to compartmentalizing. And I call it batch processing. So let me give you an example. The other day, actually Sunday, my sons had a birthday party to go to. Okay, so that was an errand. It's a home thing, but it's an errand. I had to take them. It was a little bit of a drive to get to this party. Well, I knew that I was going to have a drive back by myself for a little while, and I had some phone calls I needed to make. So what I did was before I left to take the boys to the party, I brought the list of the people I needed to call, and then I have a speaker in my car. So I basically made all those phone calls while I was coming back from running that errand. All right, so I killed 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm batching the process. So I was able to knock off quite a few things on my to-do list just because of batch processing. So let me give you an example of a way to batch process with your business. So one of the things that I like to do is I like to shoot videos, and I also like to blog. Okay, so what I do is I try to pick a day in which I knock out as many of those all at once. Because I don't know about you, but there's some days where you just can't think of what you want to shoot a video about, or you can't think about what you want to blog about. So what if you did this? What if you jotted down, like one day, you choose a day you're just going to jot down as many ideas of what you're going to shoot a video on and as what you're going to blog about as you can. And then you pick another day on your calendar where you're just going to knock out all of them. You're going to do 7 blogs that day, okay? Or you're going to shoot 7 videos or 10. In my case, I usually do it in batches of 10 for my videos. So I'll shoot like 10 videos, especially if you can do it, on a day when you're not going to be interrupted. Unplug the phone, whatever you got to do, and just knock those things out. And you'd be amazed at how much more you can get done when you just do those similar like-minded things all at once. And it's the same, like I promote myself a lot on Instagram. So rather than checking in on Instagram, 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day, I check in twice a day, sometimes once a day, because right now it's been really busy with planning. But what I'll do is I'll sit down. I have a locked-in time. It used to only take me 20 minutes, but now it takes me an hour because I got a lot of people that I talk to on Instagram. But I lock in that hour and I go through, and then I update my account. I have several. I have like 30 some accounts. So I update all of those all at once. So that way it's just done. I don't have to go back through it. I answer as many direct messages as I can all at once. So I just go boom, 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 boom. And for those people that are like really chatty on Instagram or Facebook, if you do a lot of Facebook and a lot of messaging on Facebook, I have kind of a standard statement, and if you ever get this from me, I hope you don't get offended now that I'm sharing this, but my statement on Instagram is, hey, I'm not really here that often. I'm more active on Facebook. And then I'll tell them to connect with me on Facebook. And so when I say that, it kind of ends our conversation, and then hopefully they friend me on Facebook. So then when we get to Facebook, my goal there is to, either get them to be a business client, to like my business page, to give me their email address so I can get them on my mailing list, or to get them to my group page. So if I can't get them to do one of those things, then I probably will give them a standard answer, and that's, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not able to talk right now. I'm working on a project, and well, let's catch up later. So if you ever get that from me, I may or may not be working, but I don't want to spend all of my time chatting with every single person because I've got thousands of people now that follow me and talk to me. And I'm not saying this to brag. I hope that kind of sounded like it, but that's not what I meant. What I mean is that it's so easy to get sucked into chatting on Facebook or Instagram or whatever social media that you're on, or get sucked into your email box. So you have to schedule this batch process of time in which you're going to manage this, and then have some kind of statement that you say to people when you don't have time to chat. And I don't lie to them. I mean, if you've got something else you got to do, come up with a very sensitive way that you can say, look, I appreciate talking with you, but I'm on my way out the door. Maybe you are, or I'm in the middle of a project, which hopefully you are, so that you don't spend all day sitting there chatting back and forth with something that's going nowhere at this time, and it's not advancing your goals and your processes. So there you have it. I just gave you my secret to how I really get a lot done. All right, so I promised you that I would give you a bonus. So what this is you want to write this down. This is a special link just for you for sticking around on this live hangout, and that is my time management planner. And it's just teamtough.com/time. And you don't even have to put the HTML. I think it automatically will go there if you just do /time. Okay, so let me show you what that looks like. And over here, so it's on my page, so it's on the Team Tough website. And then over here, you'll see you can click here to download this as a PDF. Otherwise, you can just view it here in this box. And what it is, it's a way for you to prioritize each day. And what I tell folks is to set a time up, batch process, and plan out what you're going to do the day before or the week before, if you can get as much of it written down as possible. So this is what it looks like. I scrolled too fast. You're going to pick maximum of 3 projects or 3 big items that you want to accomplish for the day. Okay, so like for me, one might be I need to advertise to get more students for my karate school. So I might put down attract more students for my karate school. Project 2, I need to send out emails to my list and let them know about an upcoming event that we've got going on. Project 3, I need to send a reminder to all my guests about what do they want for lunch for the wedding. So I might put that down, and then any things that I need to do to move that big project forward. Okay, so you might have up to 5, no more than 5 small items that you can do to move that project forward. Okay, then down here, these are people that you need to reach out to today, no matter what, in order to move those projects forward. And then sometimes we've got people we're waiting on, right, that you need to hear back from in order to move the project forward. So for those, you put those people there. You may have to call them again or send them an email reminder, whatever, in order to get that bit of information from them. And then always, always, always pick at least one thing, no more than 2, that's your biggest priority today, that you're going to complete no matter what. You're not going to go to bed until that thing is done. So put that in there. So it's one sheet. It's really simple, but this can help you tremendously. At least it's helped me to stay focused on what I really need to get done for the day, so that I don't get drugged in or dragged into some other project that's not really important or moving my goals forward. All right, so I'm going to flip things around here. Here it goes. All right, so I hope that you found this helpful for you in order to really compress time and be able to accomplish more in your life. If you have other things, tips that have worked well for you, or if you have questions, feel free to comment down below. I'd love to hear that. Even if you're watching this as a recording, go ahead and share that. So make it a great week. Next time I talk to you, I'll be a married woman, so look out. We will be seeing you next Monday for the Down and Dirty. Now, if for some reason I'm not going to be there, because I have not heard anything from my soon-to-be spouse on if we're going anywhere after the wedding. I don't even know what he's got planned, but he likes to keep that kind of a surprise. But if for some reason I'm going, I will send out an email and say, hey, I'm not going to have a Down and Dirty on Monday, and I will let you know that it'll be the following week. But as of right now, it's on, so we will talk to you then. Take care. Make it a great day.